All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell. We're going to stick with spirituality today. I'm just too mad at the political scene right now, so I'm not, because everybody getting hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok, led astray. Anyway, so I want to continue talking about these curses. And so last night, uh, I was, well, not so much. I had two of my sons on the phone, right? And then one of them hung up. Then the other one was still with me. And then something came across my mind about curses, right? And so I started telling him, I was like, look, when was the Bible written? So I was like, look, and the Quran. When were the Bible and the Quran written? And so, we came to the consensus. It was like around 325 AD, right? So now I was like, okay, so 325 AD. So 300 years supposedly after Jesus lived, you're going to write a Bible and talk about him, right? I'm just, So you mean to tell me nothing would get lost in translation, nothing would get, 325 years later, you write a book, right? Okay. And then like another 1300 years later, you write another book, right? And but nothing gets lost in the translation, nothing gets lost at all, right? I mean, just think logically. See, and that's the thing about a lot of this stuff. Think, just think. Does that make sense to you? Does it really, really make sense to you? Okay, and so then I started talking to him about the the way that the scriptures got where they were. So, and why the scriptures were so, synonymous with the Kemetic scriptures, with the papyrus of Aset, and also with the hieroglyphs, and with the things that they discovered. And also ask yourself this: why, until this day, are they still digging up stuff in Kemet? Why? If we're so inferior and we don't have any knowledge or wisdom or anything like that, why do you keep on trying to discover, number one, how we mummify? They don't even know how they mummified people. They still don't know how the pyramids were built. They don't know how they lined them up with the speed of light and the speed of sound and all of that. And these are facts. These are provable facts. We're not talking about the way you feel about Jesus. We're talking about factual stuff. So how did they do it? And then we start talking about other things, like, okay, so now you write this book, and then all of a sudden, then you have, and remember I told y'all, a lot of this stuff is spells, incantations, curses, all that kind of stuff that you don't realize. So then I said, okay, let's go outside of the Bible. And then you think about the Nicene Creed. All right? And remember the ecumenical councils, and the funny thing about it is all the Nicene councils, none of them were held in Africa. There were no Africans there. So how you gonna write so supposedly this book about God, but you don't include the actual location that pretty much every person, every scientist, anybody, they would tell you that Africa is the cradle of civilization. That's the first place that people were. The oldest living remains were found in Africa. Even before they found Lucy, the oldest remains at the point that they found Lucy were still from Africa. So if God put these people, and I'm just saying, I'm just speaking logically. I'm not trying to tell you what to believe or what not to believe, but I'm just saying, just think about it. But none of it was, all of it, and then the Bible was written at a place called the Hagia Sophia in Turkey. And the reason why this came up to me is because me and my wife were watching a James Bond movie, From Russia with Love or whatever, to Russia, whatever. I forget what the name is, but it's a Bond movie. And in the Bond movie, they actually have scenes inside of the Hagia Sophia. And at first, the Hagia Sophia was a church, and then they turned it into a mosque, and then back to a church, then back to a mosque. I don't know, as the stories go. All right, and then why are all of the New Testament? Why is all the New Testament stuff like when Paul is traveling, and where does he travel? He travels through Asia Minor. He doesn't travel through Africa. So how are you going to find out about people and all this stuff, and you don't even go to the origin of where people are? Come on, son. I'm just saying, just think about this stuff. I'm just laying stuff out here. And then you have this Nicene Creed, right? I believe in one holy, church, and one, and all this stuff about I can't recite it anymore. I used to be able to when I was a pastor, but I can't do it now. But that's what you recite in church. And so, like we say, and so then I was thinking, I started laughing to myself because these are incantations. And they're incantations, and even like the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, blah, blah, blah. It's an incantation. That's what it is. And so then I started thinking, I started laughing to myself, because the one incantation that I thought about was, if all y'all Funketeers out there that like Parliament Funkadelic, and where George Clinton made y'all do an incantation. We love you, Dr. Funkenstein. Your funk is the best. Right? That is an incantation. And it is a spiritual spell. And just like, so that's why we tell, like, affirmations are incantations. And so that's why that's why they don't want you to know stuff like that. So, so if and every day, just like the Pledge of Allegiance, I pledge allegiance to the flag, and we know it's all bull crap. It's an incantation. That's what it is. It's spiritual warfare. And they've been using it because they knew that's what, and so all of the incantations that were to us or about us, they got rid of. That's why they just started destroying books. So when I was talking about all the, where, Bali and, Timbuktu and Alexandria and all the places where, and the books are still there. A lot of the books are still there. So that is why, you have a certain feeling, or you have certain feelings towards certain things, because you've been reciting, whether you realize it or not. So when you get up and pledge allegiance to the flag, and all these different, the whole Star Spangled Banner, all of that kind of stuff, those are incantations. A lot of songs are incantations. And so what you're doing is you're reciting this thing over and over and over again throughout your entire life. And what does that do? It creates a belief system within you. Is it true? No. And that's why I try to tell everybody, I'm like, look, y'all don't understand. Even this whole voting thing, I'll break it down to that. So the ancestors and the elders made sacrifices in blood. They gave up their lives. They got beat up. They got fire hoses turned on them, dogs turned on them, everything else, right? So when you discount their sacrifice, what are you doing? You're rejecting them, because it's spiritual. Listen to me now. Think about it. So if you went in church and they start doing the Nicene Creed, right, and you completely reject it, all right, then what happens to your belief system? That's why you think that they put up all those monuments and everything to all these Confederate generals and people like that. They're idols. So when they talk about, idolatry and all that kind of stuff, that's what they are. They're idols. But we don't think of it on a spiritual level. So spiritual warfare is happening all around you. Spiritual warfare is happening all around you. And this is the thing, the slave masters and everything else, they understood spiritual warfare. And so they dumbed you down to keep you from being able to fight. See, if I don't give you a language, if I don't give you, if I make you learn my language, if I make you, do my way, say what I tell you to say, just like master, master is a spell. It's an incantation. Every time, if I call you master every day, then guess what you are? You're a master. And so that's why I always, even when I was in the Christian church, I would always tell people, don't say bad things about your children. I even have problems with that now, because it's like, I just be like, oh no, don't say that. Your child is not dumb. Your child is not stupid. Your child is not ignorant. When you say stuff like that, what are you doing? Your spirit, because that's your blood, that's your seed. So if you plant, just like when they found out, like if you talk to your plants, or you plant seeds and then you go out into the field and you talk to the seeds and all that, right? They have discovered, right, scientifically, that when you do stuff like that, what happens? You get a better result. They grow stronger. They grow, or giving, or like they were playing music to children in the womb. And the ones that they played positive music for, they ended up with what? With more positive lives. Because all of these things, because you got to remember, just like I tell people, how many notes are in a scale? 7, the chakras. We know that certain things vibrate at a certain level. Why? And if they vibrate at a certain level, then you get positive results from things. That's why people like music. That's why they say music is the universal language. And most people understand sound and tonality in music before they understand almost anything else. If you play a happy record for a baby, the baby will be happy. And so that's why it's like you don't really understand that all of these spiritual warfare things are happening constantly. They're literally happening constantly. And some of them go into your conscious mind, and some of them actually go into your subconscious mind. So when we get up in church, it did the same thing with when I was talking about the Akashic spell of eating flesh and drinking blood. Do y'all really believe, like, all these people that disappear, these children and stuff like that disappear? Some of these people are human sacrifices. They're human blood sacrifices. That's what they are to people who perform spiritual warfare. And when we start talking about all of the things, the rituals that the rich and all that, they do these things, whether you believe it or not, it's happening. My wife said, the King of England and whatever, my man, he looked like a straight corpse, but he's still alive. He's like a 400 years old. Y'all know they doing something to keep him alive, to keep him in this realm or in this plane, right? So I'm just trying to get y'all to open your eyes and realize that every time you read that Bible, like I said, so when you read the Bible, and they say be slave, be a good slave to your master and stuff like that. All these different things, or when they do these these rituals like Purim and basically Halloween and all that kind of those things. Look, those things are all in the scriptures. Even the holidays and all of that. So you have a celebration on a holiday that you don't even know what it's for. But what is it? It's a spiritual thing to confirm your belief. Even if your belief is wrong, because your belief might not be reality. All right. Anyway, fastest 15 minutes is up. Y'all just think about it. Think about this stuff. I'm serious. Don't just don't say anything and not not respond. Anyway, fast 15 minutes is up. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, hit all the buttons, but most of all, hit the love buddy. Buddy love. Buddy love.